Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal. Fabrizio has given us updates on both Gyokeres and Xavi Simmons. We'll also talk about the latest on Zinchenko. Will he be an Arsenal player? Will he be leaving anytime soon? And also, Mikel did his press conference earlier today. Obviously, we are about to play AC Milan on Wednesday, so ahead of that game, he was asked a lot of questions. And as you'd expect, he was asked a lot of questions about the transfer window and if you're getting more signings. And he pretty much confirmed that we're definitely getting more signings through the door. So this is what he had to say. There's a couple of quotes. Ideally, you want it on day one in preseason. I think we've done well. Very well so far. I'm very pleased with the way the club is supporting the improvements that we required in the team. I think Andrea Bata and the team are doing an excellent job trying to push everything forward. There is still a long time to go in the window. We still have a lot of hope we can improve the team, and we'll try to do that. And also this, James Ollie quoted it. This is what I had to say. In terms of numbers, we are short. So he pretty much confirmed that in terms of numbers, we are very, very short. I'm glad that we've gotten to that point that, at least they can acknowledge that we're nowhere near having enough players. There was a point like a couple of years ago where I would say, no, I'm happy with the players that we have. We don't really need any of the other players right now. But as of now, we've improved in terms of quantity. You'd say that, but you can also say that we've basically just replaced players. Neto has gone, Kepa's come in, Pat and Jorginho have gone, and then we've brought in Zubimendi and Nogat. So it's pretty much we've been replacing players. We haven't really added to our squad. So we very much need more players in this team. After Madueke, after Mosquera, that will be 5 signings. And even after getting Gyokeres, that will be 6 signings. And I still don't think that is enough because we left ourselves very short last season and not signing anyone in January. And obviously a few players departing, and with all the injuries we picked up last season, we basically left ourselves with a big transfer window to get players like Gyokeres, to get players like Kepa. We had 2 players on loan last season in Sterling and not Neto. We were never going to sign permanently, so you had to sort those ones out, and that is why we definitely brought in Andrea Bata. I don't know if Ed would have managed to get all of this done in one transfer window. We are talking about like 7 or 8 signings, 3 or 4 of them big signings. Getting Gyokeres has not been easy. Getting Zubimendi ahead of teams like Real Madrid and Liverpool was not easy. So all those deals, and then also sorting out squad depth, and on top of that, giving new contracts to all the players we want to stay. And also in terms of selling players, we had to do a lot of work in terms of getting money for all of these players who are back at Arsenal. Lokonga, Nelson, Vieira, all these guys are here, and we don't expect them to be here next season. So how much are we going to sell them for? That is why we brought in Andrea Bata for sure, and I think that was a very, very good decision. Now, back to Arteta and him saying that we definitely need players for more players. We need more. We're definitely short in the team, and we need more signings. Obviously, I was asked about players like Gyokeres. As always, a coach would say, "Now, not going to talk about players that are not playing for us." So, if Arteta's confirmed that you're very short in numbers, are we really going to be selling all of these players we've been talking about? Kiwi has been linked to the move away. Zinchenko has been linked to the move away. Martinelli, Trossard. We've had like 7 or 8 players being linked with moves away. So if the manager is confirming that you're short, you're still very short, even after signing 4 players, and the 5th one is, flying to Singapore in Mosquera. That is a lot of signings to make, and you still have you still feel like you're short. So still busy transfer window coming up for sure. Still a lot of deals to get done, and great to see that Arteta is pushing for those moves. We also told early on the live show, I think it was Chris Whitley, he said that Arteta has been pushing the board and the owners to get him enough budget this transfer window to basically add a lot of players to this team that we need and require to get over the line. Now, which players are those going to be? Now, let's start with Viktor Gyokeres and the latest on him. This is what Fabrizio's had to say a couple of minutes ago. Arsenal and Sporting are now making progress in negotiations for Viktor Gyokeres. Now, people will say, no, we always talk about it being close and close and close. But the word progress is very important here. It's very important because he could easily have said, there hasn't been any talks at all the last couple of days. He could easily have said, it's kind of stalled at the moment and nothing is happening. But he said the talks are still going on, and it's not the same place where it was 2 days ago. It's made progress from that point. So if you were 80% done with this deal, now it's 85. Even let's say if you're 95% done and now it's 97, we are getting somewhere. So Our first game is on Wednesday. He's obviously not going to be part of that. Can we try and at least make this deal happen before we play against Newcastle over the weekend? Because after Newcastle, all of a sudden you've played a couple of preseason games and you're switching country to a different country. You wanted Gyokeres to be there for Singapore. You don't want to go to the second country without your striker after you've already had a full week of preseason over there and 2 games without the striker. You don't want that. He also had this to add, Fabrizio. I heard that Arsenal and Sporting Lisbon are making progress in negotiations now. There's a good chance to finalize the Viktor Gyokeres deal in the coming days. So he just told the Zone this a couple of minutes ago as well. In the coming days, let's hope it's 1 day or 2 days, not 4 or 5 days. Coming days can be up to Sunday, it can be tomorrow. Let's hope we do get that that progress, and let's get to that 100%. We talked about it on the live show. We talked about Sporting, obviously the add-ons that they've asked about, and we were told that Arsenal want to pay a bit of that money in installments, and Sporting would want another 1.5 million on top of that if that was the case. So it's a complicated situation. Gyokeres is threatening to take the team to court, threatening to take the legal action against them. So it's a very crazy situation. I cannot wait for the day we're going to get Gyokeres through the door. I don't think we've waited for a Here We Go for this long, because we were told that Here We Go is coming soon by Fabrizio, not the ones that are just hoping. No, he told us that Here We Go is coming soon. It could actually be tonight. That was 2 weeks ago. So waiting for it for 2 weeks. Obviously, Sporting changed some things, and Arsenal weren't comfortable with some things. And after the agent paid his money and Gyokeres paid his money, we thought it was going to be done. But no, there's still other things that being discussed, and we were told that Arteta himself said in this same press conference that ideally you'd want the players to be there from day one in preseason, as he said, from day one. I remember it was 2 or 3 seasons ago. We had all our signings there so early in the transfer window. Was it the one for Gabriel Jesus and Fabio Vieira? Zinchenko was there in the first game of preseason as well. It was a later signing, but he was there early in that transfer window as well. And even the one for Rice, Havertz, and Timber, we did all those deals very early before traveling to the USA. So we needed to do something similar right now. I understand there was a lot of things to do. A lot of fans would have preferred us to try and get Gyokeres first and then get the other deals done. I think if Gyokeres was signed first and then we were told, we are trying to sign Kepa, we are trying to sign Madueke, we are trying to sign Nogard, I don't think fans would have reacted like this, because they know, you're not going to get 8 players done within a month. It's very, very difficult. So Mendy, great signing. That midfield spot, you need that midfielder in before preseason for sure. I'm happy we got that one done as soon as possible. Nogard is also going to play a pivotal role in that team, so glad he came in early as well. Mosquera hopefully is there as well very, very soon. Kepa has been able to train with the rest of the team for a lot of weeks as well. Madueke will join up with the rest of the team for the Emirates Cup and the game against Villarreal there, so hopefully as well for him, he's ready. Now we are all of us fans are waiting for Gyokeres and waiting for updates on Eze as well, so let's hope we do get those ones done as soon as possible. For Eze, I think it's going to take another couple of weeks, because we need to sell players fast, but can we get the striker through the door fast and forget about that topic for once? We've been talking about a striker for such a long time. But that's the update from Fabrizio. Xavi Simmons, Fabrizio had this to say: Arsenal remain keen on Xavi Simmons, but the signing of Viktor Gyokeres and outgoings are now the priority. The Dutchman has opened doors to a Chelsea move, with club-to-club talks expected to start, but the deal will depend on outgoings. Now, again, we mentioned on the live show, Arsenal already say that Xavi Simmons is basically a backup for Eze. If they don't get Eze, they would try to go for Xavi Simmons. So Chelsea obviously are going to do it very quickly. If they want Xavi Simmons, you'll hear by next week Xavi Simmons is going to be a Chelsea player. So at that point, you won't have any other backups really for Eze, if you're also not going for players like Rodrigo in terms of the winger position. And players obviously starting to, move. Lookman is no longer available. Xavi Simmons will no longer be available by next week if you don't get him. Another player. So it will be down to us getting Eze in an Arsenal shirt. Or if you don't get Eze, who else is in the market? I don't know. I don't think there's anyone else who's really in the market. I wanted Morgan Rogers from Aston Villa, but that is not going to happen. So unless they're very confident they're going to get the Eze deal done, wherever they're going to do it, whether it's the end of July, beginning of August. Our first Premier League game will be on August 17th. So at this point, if I can calculate off head, that's 17 days. And then, so around 27 days still to go before we play our first Premier League game. So For Gyokeres, I want him this week. For Eze, if they can get it done with at least 2 weeks remaining to the season, I'm going to be very happy with that still, because it's not possible to just get Gyokeres and Eze today. I would like that to happen, but I don't think it's going to be possible, especially if you're trying to also sell players. Remember, Reece Nelson is still here; he's traveled with the team, so what we are waiting for teams to be linked to him. Fabio Vieira as well. We're waiting for that to happen too. Speaking of players that we could sell, what's the latest on Zinchenko? Now, Sam Dean said Oleksandr Zinchenko could be a bit more tricky to sell. A big part of it is his wages. Also, he's in London and he's happy, settled. He's got a family here, he's got kids here, 1 year left as well. Being a free agent gives him a lot of more freedom. So, would Arsenal want to lose Zinchenko on a free? I don't think so. Let me just check. How old is Zinchenko right now? I know he has 1 year remaining on his contract, just like Reece Nelson and Trossard. So Oleksandr Zinchenko right now is 28. So Zinchenko should be in his prime right now. This year should be Zinchenko's prime years. He's not old yet or anything like that. If you don't sell him this year, you either give him a new contract, a 1 year contract, whether it's in terms of you have plans to keep him at Arsenal, and if he plays well next season, you're going to keep him more, or you're going to give him a new contract so that you make sure you don't lose him for free next season, and so that you can sell him next season. Does he want to extend? That's the other thing. He could, as they've said here, he could easily just say, I want to go for free next season, so he can decide which team he wants to go and pocket all that money. He's going to be 29 by that point. A lot of teams will probably come in for him from different countries. They'll have suitors from Serie A, from La Liga, and a couple of other Premier League teams. At that point, he'll just decide by himself which team he wants to go to. So a lot of more freedom. But does he, according to Sam Dean, this guy is happy in England. Are Arsenal really, really pushing to sign Zinchenko? I don't think so. I think Arsenal are looking at it as, if we get a good offer for Zinchenko, we're going to sell him. For me, we should be trying to get at least, 23 million, 24 million, around that. Now, are we going to be getting that money right now? Zinchenko is still a very good player, not the best of defenders, but again, he's an international player who plays for his country, captains. The midfield, he can play in midfield for us. And in terms of passing through the lines, I think Zinchenko is still one of our best players in terms of passing through the lines. If you have him in midfield, I'll never forget that 2023 season. If we could get that Zinchenko back, we're absolutely amazing. But obviously right now, he's being replaced already by Lewis Kelly and Calafiori, so he could be third option. And even if you say we can use Zinchenko in midfield, where Zubimendi is now there, Rice is there. We're already not going to start Nogard. We're not going to start Merino. All these players going to feature. He's going to have enough numbers, yes. And also because he's been injured a lot, you're not getting teams flooding in with offers right now. If Zinchenko had played last season and, he had like a mixed season, maybe you'd have like 3 or 4 offers by now. But because he has also had a lot of injuries the last couple of years, it's a bit of a problem. But in terms of, if you're not getting 23 million plus, depends. If someone comes in with 10 million, I'm not going to sell him. I'm just going to keep him. There's no need. We can gamble on it and see how he does between now and January, and maybe let him go in January for like 15 million or something if he plays well through the season. But let's wait and see which offers come in for him. So again, I'm not sure Zinchenko really wants to leave Arsenal, so that will be very interesting. Keeping an eye on Zinchenko, Kiwi, and all these guys. Who's going to stay? Who's going to be leaving? Let's wait and see. So that is the latest updates tonight. Thank you for watching. Make sure to check out the live show we did earlier, and I'll catch up with you guys on